get started, I'm using my Straightedge, and I'm using my hardest pencil, which is my B pencil, and I am doing two 2-inch lines that are 1 inch apart from each other. Now I'm drawing the construction line that is showing how much space is in between each of the lines, and then I'll be drawing the line that connects. So now I am mapping out the circle or the tip of the nose that will act as the tip of the nose, and I am drawing this towards the end of the lines. It will go off of the lines that I drew, and this circle shouldn't go too much past the lines because I do not want my tip to be very wide. But as we know, there are many different types of shapes of noses, and if you would like to draw your tip of the nose a little bit more bulbous, then go ahead. Next, I am drawing 2 half-inch lines that are connecting from off of the circular tip that I drew. And these lines are going to be on the same level because I want them to be even. So they are going to be in a straight line. These lines will be drawn just a little bit above the halfway point of the circle. Next, I am drawing 2 1-inch lines that are connecting from the lines that I drew going sideways. These lines will be facing downwards. These are to show as a guide for the nostrils and the lower part of the nose. Next, I'm drawing a line in between the 2 lines that are going downwards, a little more than halfway down the circle. These are to sort of map out where the nostrils are going to be. Now I'm drawing a construction line a little less than halfway down from the previous line that I drew, and this is to map out where the nostrils will go. Now I'm going to be using a little bit more pressure with my B pencil, and I'm going to be mapping out the lower portion of the nose and the nostrils. Later on, I will be erasing these construction lines to get a very faint look to the construction lines because we do not want these hard lines to show through on our final product. Now I'm drawing a diagonal line that goes across the box that I drew to show where the nostrils are going to go. I'm doing this on both sides. Now I'm going to be taking my B pencil and I'm going to be curving the lines that I drew that are going downwards. These are going to be where the nostrils are, and I'm curving them because the nostrils tend to have a more curved look to them, especially at this part, which can be referred to as the wing of the nostril. Now on the bridge of the nose, I'm going over the original construction lines that I drew, and I am going to be just going over them with a softer stroke. Now, at the top of the bridge, the nose tends to go outwards, so I'm drawing two diagonal lines coming off from the bridge of the nose. Now I'm using a technique that I learned from rapid fire art tutorials, and I'm going over my original drawing with my Kneadable eraser to make the construction lines less prominent so they do not interfere with the final drawing. By doing that, I was trying to limit the amount of hard lines that were drawn, but now to create more smoother transitions, I'm re-going over the lines that I erased, and I am going to be going over them with a more softer stroke with my B pencil. But don't press too hard because that will interfere with the final drawing. Now I'm going to be drawing a curved shape that connects to the bridge of the nose, that is the nostril. The nostril tends to curve at this point, and it doesn't completely connect to the bridge of the nose, but it is about 1/4 of an inch away from the bridge. And I'm doing this on both sides. And this is very particular. This is a different shape for any type of nose, but for the nose I'm drawing, it is a diagonal. Now I'm going to be going over the original construction lines that I drew at a diagonal to draw the nostrils. And I have been referring to the places that I have drawn up to this point as the nostrils. But those are the wings of the nostrils. I have referred to them as the same thing, but this time I'm going to be drawing the holes, which are actually referred to as nostrils. Now I'm drawing the nostrils that are at an ovular shape that go at a diagonal. The bottom of the nostrils will touch the bottom of the construction lines that I drew at a rectangle, and then I will then make the top of the ovals go a little bit less than halfway from the top of the construction lines that were drawn as a rectangle. Now I'm fixing up my construction lines to my liking, and I'm darkening or lightening any areas that are needed, and if you are satisfied with your drawing, you can move on to the next step. Now I'm drawing lines that are coming off from the tip of the nose and are connecting to the wings of the nostril. I'm doing this on both sides of the nose. diagonal line that is connecting to the bridge of the nose that I originally drew to make it a little less narrow and a little wider. Now I'm finishing up drawing the rest of the construction lines, and then I'm going to go over the drawing with my Kneadable eraser to limit the amount of construction lines that show through the drawing, and then I'm going to be moving on to shading. Now it's time to shade. I'm first doing my first layer with a 2B pencil, and I'm shading the lower part of the nose first, and I'm going to be doing the 2B and 4B first on the bottom path, and then we're going to move to the top. Now I'm using my 4B pencil and I'm putting down a layer of graphite where the drawing should be darker because the light source is coming directly above the nose, and in this case the outer portion of the wings of the nostrils are a little bit darker than the middle of the nostrils where the light is directly hitting it. Now I'm going over the areas that I previously shaded with a 2B pencil, and I'm using a 4B pencil for the next layer, but this time I am applying a little bit less pressure than I did on the outer parts of the nostril because the light is directly hitting this portion. I'm also lightly shading below the tip of the nose. Now I am blending my layer of 4B graphite until it is smooth. I am using a medium blending stump to complete the blending process for this section.